halfway. Oh, that's it.
Hello to all you yids out there. This is the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans Podcast, a podcast from a bunch of yids to all you yids around the world. And I'm back. I've come away from holiday, but as you can see, the tan didn't come with me. I'll have to go to Brentwood and get it sprayed on. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be back knowing that we'll be back in the Premier League next season. It wasn't pretty for most parts yesterday, but I don't think any of us will care once we saw that scoreline. We would have took that with everything at the start of the game. It's myself, Lee Tarrier, Matty Kirk, Kevin Dennis. How you doing, boys? All feeling good?
All feeling fucking relieved, mate. All relieved.
Yeah.
A massive weight off my shoulders. I'm sure you guys are the same, but mentally, I mean, I've never felt a weight lifted off my shoulders so much until that final whistle went. And it is, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel at the end, but oh, mate, it was a weird feeling because obviously I've not been in this situation before, but just for how much we've had to endure. Like for me, personally, and I'll talk about myself, mentally, it's been tough to be associated with this club in terms of speaking about them on this, speaking about them outside of this, and to friends. It's just been a hard work. And I'm so happy that this football season's over. I mean, I'm so relieved and I'm glad we got it done, you know.
Massively. Matt, you know, we said in February you were the first and we had to clip it. You said we could be in a relegation fight. We were in a relegation fight to the very last second, but we made it through, mate. Are you happy now?
Lee, I was hoping we'd be out fucking well before yesterday, mate. Jesus. I feel like we've all aged. This season, we've aged. Like, Lee, you look about 70 now.
Look at the grades. Look at the grades. Got to get the dye out.
We've aged. We've aged this season. It's took a lot out of us. It's took a hell of a lot out of us this season.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I watched it yesterday in the Coaching Horses. Big love to everyone, by the way, who works at the Coaching Horses. It was a sauna in there. Even in the back bit, it was hot. I mean, it's hot now. Like, you know, you step outside in the shade, it's hot. But they were working tirelessly. I know they're very good friends of ours. They've been lovely to us. So I just want to give a shout out to that. And I didn't see you guys because I was looking hang about. I saw some of the boys, but as soon as that final whistle went, I just had to go out. We went to Bruce Castle Park, got some cans, just because it was so hot. I just you know what I mean? It was boiling. But big love to them.
Did you get in the paddling pool over there? Is it still over there, the paddling pool?
Nothing in there, mate. I wish it was. I remember that back in the day.
You'd be dipping in there, mate, after them 3 points. With your Tottenham undies on.
Tottenham undies. But no, you know what? It's weird. For me, it was weird because obviously massive sigh of relief, really happy and whatnot. There were people in there jumping for joy like we won the Europa League. I personally couldn't do that. I was just more relieved. I was like, thank God. I'd never knock anyone that does do that. But I was almost like, okay, we've got through this. Almost like a praise to high heaven with relief. But now it's like the real work needs to happen. And we've got guests on today at different intervals. TJ's joining us as well. So, you know, we'll get to that. But, was it a sigh of relief for you, Kev? Was you jumping around? I mean, it's one of those weird ones. Chanting and going crazy could be for a sigh of relief. Mine was a little bit more reserved, but how was you?
Yeah, I mean, I was fine. I mean, I went out the night before on purpose just so I could sleep Saturday night. Got up Saturday morning, started on the beers about 10 o'clock. So sort of had a few beers and just chilled me out, took my mind off the game a bit. 4 o'clock come around pretty quick. But going in there, I felt okay, weirdly enough. I mean, I knew we had a massive advantage by having just to get a draw as well. So I wasn't really on the edge of my seat. And the way the game panned out, I was kind of fine all through the game because we kind of coasted it through the game and we sort of managed it well. And however you may say that they had a day off or they was already on their holidays, we still play really, really well, I thought. We showed that thing under the Zerbi that I've seen since he's come in, is the hunger side of it. Being at it, being hungry. I mean, the home support was a great support. It had to be, obviously, because of the situation, but the ground was a nice place to be in for once in terms of atmosphere. And yeah, when that final whistle went, I wasn't jumping about like a fucking lunatic, I must admit. And I'm glad the players didn't do that as well. I think the players were just, you know, giving us the claps, saying thank you, probably to say sorry as well. But for me in the stands, it was just there's people I've been sitting around for a few years now, and we say hello and we have a chats and all that. But there was a lot of embracing yesterday in terms of hugs and things like that, because we've all been through the same thing. We've all spent the same money. We've all been through the same anguish. And it was just a bit more of, God, I'm glad that's over. Nice to see you, but I don't mind not seeing you for a few months. Do you know what I mean? It was that sort of thing. And everyone I went into Bilnick straight after. And it was all just, it was embracing, it was all hug. And I thought we were the only ones yesterday that were allowed to do that, because we are the ones that have been put through it, I think, the worst out of the whole thing, in terms of what we've paid and what we've seen and the decisions they've made. So, yeah, I think for us and everyone I saw in the Bilnick, the bricklayers, the White Horse, whoever it was that I saw yesterday, it was every single person was a fucking hell, I'm glad that's over. Gives a hug.
Yeah.
How can we go again next year? So, yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, I definitely weren't going mental about it, but fuck me, was I relieved.
Yeah. Matt, was you in the ground and how was you?
Now, Lee, I had my mum's 60th, mate, so I was out with family, so I wasn't at the game. But I managed to get to the pub and watch it, and mate, it was Spurs in there. It was in Sawbridgeworth, and to be fair, mate, what I saw and all the videos that I've seen since, we was in no win situation. Like, we can't win, yeah. Like, if we go down, people are gonna laugh at us, yeah. And then fans, they're gonna celebrate however they want, yeah. Like, at the end of the day, you get the celebration police come out and criticize whoever. Do you know what I mean? Even if it was just a fist pump in the air, people are like, you can't be celebrating that. And they're right. Like, we shouldn't celebrate that. We're 17th. We just escaped on the last bit. But I don't think people are celebrating like we've won a trophy. It's just like Kev saying, it's just relief. Like, we're just hearing, like, do you know what I mean? Because the football world was against us, mate. Yeah, everyone wanted us down. Every fan base wanted us down, and we've had to come over some tricky situations throughout the whole season. Like, just teams putting up a fight against us in as a final, but then roll over. Like, look at Leeds yesterday. I felt like they rolled over for Leeds, for West Ham. And
I know, it's mad.
And I always said, if we went to the last game of the season and it wasn't in our hands, we're down, because Leeds would roll over for West Ham. But look, mate, it's just relief, and that is it, man. It's just like a massive, and we go again. But I'm hoping for big things next season. Not big things, but I'm looking forward to a big summer.
Progression, definitely, and we'll come on to that, definitely. As I said, we've got 3 guests at different intervals. Our first guest we're just going to bring in now, a big Tottenham supporter, Moldsy. How you doing, mate? Nice to speak to you.
Evening, lads. How are we all?
We are relieved, as we're just saying. We're sweltering hot in 30 degree weather, but we're relieved. We'd rather be sweltering and relieved. How are you feeling, mate?
Well, to be honest, mate, it's been the first weekend that I've actually had a relaxing weekend watching a bit of football. I mean, you know what I mean? The game itself, we all knew it was going to be a tough shit game. It wasn't going to be a pretty game. But to be honest, after about the first 20 minutes, I knew Everton were not in it. They didn't want. They weren't on it. They didn't want to know. I mean, part of me even thinks Moisey was after a few players back from West Ham, so it was easier if West Ham go down. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just screamed that they were all on their holidays. So once we got that goal, and that from that point, I couldn't see us losing the game. But the relief after the game with the final whistle, I mean, I was a nightmare. I watched it on my own at home. Everyone leaves me alone when I watch the game because I'm a nightmare. So the missus and everyone was out of the house, but they could hear me from outside in the garden. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
funny enough.
I celebrated the goal.
Shane says the same. Shane says the same. He told me that he kicks his missus out when it comes to the Spurs games. Must be saying the water up your way. You can't. No one can be around you boys when you're watching Spurs.
It's not that, mate. She won't be around me, mate. She can't watch football when I'm around. Even when I used to coach the kids, and she wouldn't even come and watch me coach the kids. So I'm a nightmare around football. I'll be the same. Like I say, it's passion, isn't it? It's what it is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
like I say, I didn't celebrate the end of the game so much, but I celebrated the goal, because the goal, it meant something. When it was just that relief of passion, that was the only real release for me. But from that point onwards, once the game had finished, it was just a kind of, I can't celebrate this properly. You know, like it's not an achievement for me. It's just a relief. Do you know what I mean? So then it was a case of hit the sun and hit a bit of drink.
Hey, that's the way.
Don't you feel first half, we've done the job in the first half because we could have been like 2 or 3 up by half time. And I think second half, it was kind of like, we know West Ham are drawing. If we just go out there and don't do nothing stupid, Everton are not going to score 2 goals past us. So just don't do nothing stupid. And I think we managed the second half unbelievable.
Yeah, they had about 10 minutes in the whole game where I thought they look like they might score here. But apart from that, none of them were on it.
No, and Molesy, what I was going to say, I felt it was very good. We put the clip up last week of what Kev said about Maddison starting. And I said it to my mates in the coach yesterday. I would have done exactly the same. What Kev was saying last week. I'm a big baseball fan. And obviously in baseball, you start with your best pitcher. There's 9 innings in a game, but they throw about 6 of it. And their aim is to shut out the other team while your team does the business with the bat. So by the time you get to the 7th inning, the game's over. And now I thought that's really what we could have done with Maddison yesterday. Do you think that if he would have started the game, it could have been even easier? We would have put him to bed by half time?
I possibly think so. But then I think, is he at that point where just that slightest bit where he's not completely ready? And do we need another injury where he's out for the rest of the summer and he's not involved in that build up for the next year? Because we all know he's going to be key. You see him even when the game's going on, he's directing people from the bench. You can see he was involved in the game. You know what I mean? It's like he's a part of the coaching squad. You know what I mean? Personally, I think we didn't need him in that situation. Say we'd gone 1-0 down early, maybe, I would have said, then we need Maddison on because we need it. But from when I'd seen that first 20 minutes of that game, I knew Everton were not interested. So why would you risk Maddison after he's been out for so long to then put him in a risk situation where you ain't going to have him in the build up to get ready for next season? Would be madness to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he's going to be crucial.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he soaked that up. In the Zerbi, there were 2 people I looked at the final whistle. And Maddison, I think after the year Maddison's had, and I know how much affection he's got for the club as well. I think all he wanted to do
he lives and breathes the club now. You can see it.
Yeah, I think all he wanted to do was be in the Premiership next season with this team and obviously be fit. And a lot of people are calling him to be captain next year, obviously, because we're going to lose the shit one we have. But I don't know what you boys think. Is that a shout for you boys, giving Maddison the armband because he fucking gets
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Plus, like I say, it does help having an English captain. Do you know what I mean? It does. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to bring through young English players into the team as well. It helps. It really does.
Yeah, I think also in that sense, what was your take on the Romero thing, Molesy? What did you think that all of a sudden, because I knew he would go over to Argentina. He's obviously going to be in their squad. He's got an injury. He's racing to be fit, a bit like Beckham was years ago. So he's gone home. He obviously really loves his Argentine physios, which I don't blame because our physios haven't really shown themselves in a good light. But do you think more was made of the fact that he was over there, or and he come back? I believe he should have been there, and I'm glad he was there. What do you think happened? How do you think it played out, and why do you think he was there in the end?
To be honest, I was one of Cutty's biggest fans. Do you know what I mean? Like the old Cutty that we all know. You know what I mean? Used to throw everything into every game. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes too much, and he'd get sent off. But you could see he wanted to win for the club every game. But the last 2 seasons, we haven't had that from him. He's been really a liability for us, to be honest. And his attitude and everything else, he hasn't got that commitment to the club. The statements he's come out with and things like that. It's, to me, I think he's one of them players in a club that can make your club. He's a bit like a disease, he's spreading through the club. I noticed straight away the difference in Mickey van der Ven. Soon as he wasn't playing next to Romero, he's a different player. And is that because of the attitude and the stuff that he's breathing and getting off his person who's next to him? For me, I'm not going to be sad to see him go if he goes this year. I'm really not.
No,
we've got. What we've got in Croatia, Vuskovic, mate. Why would? Do you know what I mean? Why would we be worried?
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the thing. I read there's a great piece. If everyone listening or watching or even on the show here, if you haven't read it, there's a great piece in the Times today by Tom Alnott about how, basically analysing the season in every different area. And there was a big bit about apparently Thomas Frank. He didn't want him as the captain. I mean, this says a lot about Frank in itself. Didn't want him as the captain, but was like, well, I don't really know who else can lead it, which is interesting because we're all talking about Maddison and what he has shown, and I think he was showing this before. I mean, if you look at Maddison's social and the way he talks from the minute he walked into the club, for me, it says leader, it says captain, and he wasn't part of the, I don't know, maybe I might be wrong. Was he part of the leadership team? He was, wasn't he? It was Son, Romero, and Maddison. It must be. Yes, it was. Yes, because Ange called him out on the parade. But I look at Maddison, and although he was injured, I think that you could do more to bring someone like that in and around the space, because if De Zerbi's done it and it's had an effect, why not do it when your chips are down? So, but apparently, yeah, Frank said he didn't want Romero, but he didn't know anyone else that was available to him that would have been a better captain. But it clearly hasn't worked out, and I don't know where we go with him.
Well, I mean, realistically, we haven't seen a leader in the team for the last seasons that stood up and be counted. So, I mean, who would you pick yourself? I mean, it is one of them, isn't it? Really, you're probably looking at Romero and thinking he's a World Cup winner. Do you know what I mean? He's at the back. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people think a centre back and that's a good person to beat, but like you say, he hasn't got that attitude where, for a leader, for me, that warrants having a captain badge. Do you know what I mean? You're more thinking somebody like Maddison.
Mate, just pick up what Multi said there, because we spoke about that early on in the season, about this squad's got no leaders. We lack leaders, and in this running, in this last 7 games, you can pick out as Van der Ven as a proper leader here. James Maddison's come in and been a leader. Polina has come in and been a leader.
Polina, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And Porro stepped up and become a leader. In this last 7 games, we've somehow, De Zerbi's got these leaders out where the other managers didn't get them. And we were struggling.
De Zerbi's been the only leader we've had in this season. And that's been blatantly obvious over these last few games. I mean, the football's not been pretty, because you're never going to turn them around from what they were producing to world beaters or anything like that. But the difference in that, you can see game by game, the style of the play, the pressing, the high press and things like that was getting better game by game. So I'm only more confident for the rest of the season, for next season going into. Do you know what I mean? With De Zerbi, but I'm under no delusions. We're not going to get rid of all of them players that are in that team now, because it's not going to be a complete clear out. So there's going to be a lot of them that are there that are going to have to book up back to where they were.
Yeah, and just to ask then, Molesy, why do you think he came back then? If he sort of got his head out of it and there was already a backlash, like, fuck him, we want to fuck him off. Why would he come back if he's in the attitude of, well, I'm going to go anyway? Like, if he's not going to see us again and the deal's going to be done, why do you think he was there yesterday?
I don't know. I mean, if he's going to be there next season, it's going to be. I don't personally want him there next season, because he hasn't shown me enough. And like you say, just turning up for the game on Sunday, to me, doesn't make it acceptable for everything he's done throughout the rest of the season. Like, he was a liability, and the sending offs that he was in, the United game that we were all at, it was just like big games. He's just not been there for us this year, and he's not proven, like the way the comments and the whole thing about his dad releasing about the clause and things like that. It's not somebody for me that wants to stay at the club, and you can't force somebody to stay at a club, because it never works. We all know that.
No, and so then I'll finally ask you, Molesy, one more question. How far do you see an improvement for next season, or what's realistic? For what realistic we can go from 17th?
is being a team probably that's got no European football next year, that can probably improve a squad that is. I mean, with the players we've got to come back. I mean, hopefully with Kudus, Kulievski, there's players that are there that should be shining next season, hopefully. So hopefully a couple of cup runs would be nice. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
with no European football, it should be players shouldn't be putting through the mill like they, you know what I mean? And the way De Zerbi makes them run, we should be fitter than anything for next season. So maybe even looking at, like, I'm not thinking we're going to be up there breaking Champions League for next season, but same way as like the teams next season that are in Europe, I think will struggle next season with the amount of games. The likes of Sunderland, Bournemouth, Brighton, they haven't got the squads, and are they going to be able to improve in the summer to make them stand up and be able to deal with all them games? So they might be not in the position to be in them positions next year, and maybe we could look at breaking into one of them sort of positions. But I'm not being realistic. You know what I mean? It could be another mid-table season, but nothing can be as bad as this season. Nothing can be.
I agree.
Let's all get that right.
Yeah, Mouldy, it's been a joy to have you on, mate. All the very best. We'll love you on next season, and we'll all meet up at the Spurs and have a drink, mate. Have a good summer. Enjoy the World Cup. Relax, and we'll all get back on it.
Support a team that we can all enjoy watching for a bit. Yeah.
Top man, mate.
So yeah, Mouldy speaks a lot of truth there. The Romero thing is a crazy situation. You know, as there is many things crazy at the club. And our next guest, and we've got TJ with us as well. TJ's on with us now. I see. TJ, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Now, mate.
Hangover lasted a lot longer than I thought it would.
You just got out of the pub.
I just got out of the pub. I had to put the kids to bed, man. Fucking, they've been in the garden all day, loving the sunshine, and didn't want to go to bed. So, struggling to get on tonight, boys. But I'm here, made it.
You're here. You made it. Man.
Oh, I bet. Feels weird celebrating it's like relegation and that, but it still meant a lot to secure that status, man. So, yeah, looking forward. I've been listening to the whole thing. Great. Yeah. I left when Kev dragged me out, actually, if I'm being honest. I probably would have stayed out with a few of the other boys who walked in at 5.
Mr. Sensible last night, mate. Mr. Sensible, I was.
Kev literally was like, "No, we're leaving. We're going." I was like, "All right, cool, let's go."
What time was that? I
was home tucked up like Cinderella, mate, by midnight.
Okay, that's not bad. I was saying, yeah.
T, if you was out till 5, you wouldn't have been on here today. No way.
No, I was all right this morning.
No way.
I done the old double Nurofen pint of water before bed, and I woke up and could run a marathon.
Smartest thing.
I was all right. I was good this morning. I was good as gold.
As I was saying, look, we've got a few guests on, and our next guest is someone who was on, I think, around January, February. I think Frank was still in charge, I believe. He'll tell us. But we spoke a lot about the club as a whole, you know, not the game. You know, we just talking about what yesterday was all about. But in that podcast, we talked about the club as a whole, where we are with the board, where we are with management, where we are with players. So it'd be good to bring him in now, because I'm going to read the letter from Peter Charrington, who is our vice chairman. But it's Orin Campbell. Orin, good to see you, bruv. How you feeling?
Hello, lads. How we doing? We made it.
Survived. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good.
Here he is.
Relieved, mate. Relieved.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, it was mad. And I thought, you know, because our podcast is a really good podcast, we talked about the health of the club and how it all was. So bringing you in, I'm just going to read that letter that came out about midday today from the Nottingham Executive Chairman. His name is Peter Charrington. And he said, "Dear supporters, on Sunday, despite a season that gave you so little, you gave everything. A full stadium, full voice, right through to the final whistle. It's why we owe you honesty about where we are. Last September, we recognised that something seismic had to change at Spurs. The Lewis family stepped in and authorised a full reset. That decision was not taken lightly, and it came in later than it should have. But what has been put into motion is real, and it marks a genuine break from what has become before. The quality that makes Spurs distinct, our football ambition, the connection between the team and its supporters has been allowed to fade. We did not have the right expertise in key roles. We did not build squads good enough to compete in the most demanding league in the world, with 217 places showing that. It's not acceptable. So we've restructured leadership since September across the club with a refreshed executive and football structure. De Zerbi's our men's head coach for 5 years. That's a reflection of our belief in his ability and our commitment. And our commitments to you are, we'll build a squad led by Roberto with the right blend of experience, youth and leadership, as we were just saying, to compete at the highest levels of Premier League and European football. We will invest across multiple transfer windows to rebuild, balance, and strengthen, with this summer representing the important first step in that work. We'll continue to modernise our football operation with a real focus on raising standards across medical and performance, and will increase investment in the academy so that the pathway from youth football to the first team is one of the strongest in the country. There's been a lot of speculation about ownership and the future direction of the club. Let's be direct. Tottenham Hotspur is not for sale. The Lewis family are wholly committed to this club and the rebuild. We fell well short, and we must be in the fight with the best teams in this league. This club lives in the heart of everyone who's ever loved it. It's been carried on, and we will get back to where we belong. Orin, a lot in that letter. What was your thoughts on it?
I mean, you saw me shaking my... I mean, it would be palatable if they weren't there for 26 years. Do you know what I mean? You know, all this nonsense about, you know, we've seen enough and we had to step in and we had to do something. You've been there for 26 years. Like, we've heard, how many times have we heard these statements before that we're going to be ambitious, that we want to compete, that we want to do this, we want to do that, and they never put their money where their mouth is. And unfortunately, I think the time's gone now to put up or shut up. They just need to sell the club, and we need to move on from ENIC and the Lewis family and all of the rest of it. For me, it's just not good enough, to be honest.
So why do you think? You know, because you said it to me, you said, look, oh, funny how they bring this out today, not yesterday. And I know yesterday it was all about the match and we had to think about, look, everything had to be focused on delivering that 3 points. I get that. But why has there been that radio silence in the run up to this? They've not really been great. Now it's, you know, oh, we are going to do everything that's been criticised. We are going to change now. Why wasn't that in September?
But they said it last season, Lee, didn't they? When we won the Europa League, right? That we're going to build a squad to compete on all four fronts. We then go and get a manager. No disrespect to Frank, but Thomas Frank, for me, is the worst manager that we've employed at Tottenham in my lifetime. He done so much damage to our football club that we almost got relegated this season. And that is on the club, because they told us that they went through a rigorous process. Do you remember? You know, this 30 questionnaire, 30 questions that they did, and they did all the interviews in the world, and they ended up with Thomas fucking Frank. Do you know what I mean? So, to be honest, I don't want to hear anything. You know, you mentioned that article in The Athletic, which was a really good read. And, you know, a couple of things that stood out to me was we've brought in 14 players in the last 2 years. The average age of those players is 20.7 years old. What the hell is any club with any ambition of doing anything in the Premier League meant to do with 20-year-olds? You're not gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? God love Matisse Tells. He tried really hard, not good enough. Paulinho shows so much heart. He's not good enough. And these have been two of our better players this season. I don't think Paulinho is good enough. If Paulinho is starting next season, we got problems for me. You know, it's time to have a real clear out. You know, De Zerbi on the press conference yesterday was saying he only trusts 10, 11 players. You know, what more needs to be said? You know, a certain amount of players that just need to be told, start looking for a new club. It's over. You know, we're moving on. And another thing from that article, Lee, was we only gave youth players this season 26 minutes across last season. Again, it's not good enough. When you've got someone like Kolo Muani getting minutes and you're not playing any youngster, for me it's a shame. And when we talk about, you know, culture, identity of Tottenham Hotspur, it's attacking football, it's bringing through young players. You know, it's having someone to cling on to, and we haven't got it at the moment. I mean, we're talking about leaders, and I think we're looking at things with a bit of rose-tinted glasses at the minute. I think we all need to take them off and take a really hard look. We're talking about Maddison for captain. Are you having a laugh? He's a good player.
I like that, though.
And he's good and he's a good person to have around the club. But you can't give James Maddison the captaincy. No fucking chance can you give James Maddison the captaincy.
What makes you think that, though?
Because for me, he's not a leader. He's a leader in the sense of he'll lead by example. But I think on the pitch and in terms of his play, and he'll never shy away from the ball and always try and make things happen. But I think we need more than that. We need more than that now. And you know, talking about Romero earlier, and he had to come back with his tail between his legs. But who in the club authorized him to go. That's the question. Ramiro shouldn't have the brass neck to fucking even ask, can I go to Argentina to do training or to watch my boyhood? It shouldn't even be an option. So how us as a club have allowed this to happen, this malaise to set in over the club over years. And it's not this season, it's not last season, it's not. We can go back all the way to Pochettino, we can go back to Redknapp, we can go back to even Glenn Hoddle when we read that article the other week when he said he wanted, who was it, Morientes and Neto, and he got Payet and whoever else, Les Ferdinand, that he got. You know, it's been this way for 26 years, guys. And to be honest, unless there's change at the very top, I cannot see us doing anything in the seasons to come.
Sorry, Luke, go back to the James Maddison thing. Is it like, I used to think like maybe James Maddison isn't a captain, but I feel like the minutes he's played at the back end of this season, he's speaking out. Do you know what I mean? And he's coming out backing us on and off the pitch at the minute. Like, yeah, people say about his football and that on the pitch. Every bad ref decision, James Maddison is straight up to that referee. He's fighting our calls at the minute, where I feel like we've had too nice of captains over the years where we've not done that. James Maddison yesterday calling out the medical team in his interview after the game. Do you know what I mean? We've not had captains like that before. So I'm definitely for potentially giving Maddison that chance because I feel like he is showing something there.
Yeah, I think that's what makes me look at it. I've got to be honest. I feel that, you know, at the moment in that squad, unless you know, because there is upheaval, if he only trusts, let's say 10 players that De Zerbi saying he trusts, we've got to then look and go, right, out of that 10, you probably need a leader that's there who knows the club, who's been in the mire now and knows what, and feels it. I think even if it's the short term, I do believe that he can do it. And I do believe that's right because I don't look elsewhere out of it and go, all right, that's somebody I see that was good. Because he must be doing something good because De Zerbi put him on the bench when he wasn't.
Where Oren's going with it is, if we're, I mean, at the moment with what we have, I don't think Maddison's a bad shout, but Maddison is really the only option we have. That's the problem for me. It's not like, well, let's pick out, there's 5 or 6 there. Which one do you think? There isn't a choice.
Yeah,
and we're kind of forced to have, and that's the problem. You can go out and get players that can be better captains than Maddison, but that'd be down to the club to do that. But for what we have at the moment, says a lot really in terms of us wanting him because he isn't a kind of type captain player in terms of on the pitch and what we're used to seeing over the years. I'm talking about other clubs like Tony Adams, John Terry, them sort of players. He isn't that. So I think the choices are very limited, and that's probably why we are where we are. So I can understand both ends of the argument with that, I think, in terms of Maddison and what kind of club, the players the club are bringing in for us to choose who could be a captain.
Yeah. Well, just while we're on the while we're doing this, there's been an Instagram from João Palhinha that looks like it's a goodbye. He's sort of said, "When I arrived here, I knew Tottenham was a great club. I don't have the words to thank you all for your
support." You know, Ori, that's your fault. That is
the pride and pleasure of Tottenham. The pride and pleasure of representing Tottenham is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life. Come on, you Spurs. Who knows? But it sounded a little bit like a goodbye. But you know, one of the better players now be gone. You know, who knows if De Zerbi was saying that? But yeah, we are down to. You know, I thought he had a bit of a leader around him. Like he G'd him up, he got the crowd going, Palhinha, but obviously we have to remember he's on loan. Is he good enough? I think he works hard. I think he fades in games. You know, he's in and out of the games a little bit. So I do think we need to step up. But where we were, I think he was great in that sense. But to come to you, TJ, you know, when I read out that letter and what Oren said about it and the business, the ethics of the club and whatnot, they can't lie to us no more, can they? TJ, I mean, like Oren said, they said that in September. They said that last season. They're saying it again now. Surely you cannot come out with such a massive letter, a statement, a day after the disgruntlement is, you know, fading, but has also been at its highest. They can't lie to us, can they?
And they can. They can. No, but all jokes aside, I'll tell you what was quite refreshing about this letter, which has been different to previous letters. Is there was no sort of pointing towards any positives. I think before they try and lean on, you know, we've established a stadium, we've established this, and you know, we've bought, like Oren said, we've gone through rigorous processes to find the new manager. There was no hiding in this statement. That's the one thing I'll say. Like the guy who wrote it has been very. So Peter Charrington, I don't know too much about him apart from the fact that he got appointed midway through the season, and he's wrote it, and he's basically said, look, we're failing in all these areas, and we need to improve. To Oren's point, they have been there 26 years, and we all look at that era, like Yol was the guy who brought European football to Tottenham. And then after that, you had the Pochettino era, like Harry Redknapp getting us break into the Champions League, and then Pochettino coming in. At that point, that was the pivotal moment in our recent history. And we did not buy. We went 2 transfer windows without buying a player under Pochettino. It's insane. Like how like that the club thinks something like that's acceptable. When you're watching teams above you, like, or below you, spend more money on wages, go out and buy like proven Premier League talent. So players that are playing in the Premier League for their rival clubs, they're buying them, like, who are established in this league. We've never done that. We don't do that. We don't go to our rivals and pick players out of their team and be like, we will, like, you look at like someone like Sunderland. You go in Sunderland and go, I'm going to have the best player in Sunderland. They're in Europe, but I want their best player. That's what United have done. Liverpool have done it for years. Liverpool are basically Southampton. Over the years, they've literally bought the best player out of Southampton every year.
Yeah, they did.
We don't do that. We don't go into other clubs that have proven talent in the Premier League and entice it to our club. So when they sit there and they say all this, like I said, it's quite refreshing to hear it as blunt and as open as it's been presented to us in this letter. But whether or not they act on it, you can only go by track record, and I don't see it happening. We will see. It's a World Cup year as well, which complicates things. It means that transfers are going to get done a lot later in the window than they normally would. We will know. All of us sitting here will know on game 1 of the next season whether we're going to have this again or whether it's going to be a flip, and it will all be based on how active they are in the transfer market.
Yeah, but that's it.
So in essence, to what Oren's saying, they've got 3 months now to prove their words in that letter. If they don't act in this transfer window and set things in place that basically imply a squad overhaul, then we will never believe you ever again. We already finding it hard to believe.
We're really struggling, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you do not act in this transfer window, and listen, this is no slight to the players that are there. We've got some talent there. I don't think a lot of them have been firing on the right cylinders. They haven't had the right leadership from above, both in the seniority of the players, the manager, and I'm a firm believer in that things that happen at the top of the club filter down to the pitch.
100%.
It 100% happens. So when you've got a lack of investment and taking your eye off the football side of the business, that's going to filter down onto the pitch at some point. And that's what you've seen the past 2 seasons. Europa League was like one of the best moments of my life in football. But that league position should have told you something. It didn't, and now we nearly hit the drop. We stayed up by 2 points this season.
Yeah,
we cannot, as Tottenham Hotspur. I don't care what anyone says. They go, "Oh, you're so precious. You fucking think you're entitled to everything." Nobody's entitled to everything. But we've been in this league for 50 years. We are an established club in the top 10 footballing revenue clubs in the world. That's not even a Prem. The world.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here now, and like potentially could have been playing Championship football.
Listen,
this summer
TJ,
will dictate everything.
Yeah, sorry to jump in, TJ. At the end of the day, right? The whole world and his dog wanted Tottenham to get relegated. Yeah, so
they love it.
That tells me something. So despite all these other fans in the Prem and in the Football League, that tells us something that people give a shit about Tottenham, right?
Yeah, you'll have people tell you Spurs ain't a big club. The reaction to this relegation tells you everything you need to know.
There we go. I've had Arsenal mates grilling me more about Tottenham than celebrating their title. So that should tell you everything you need to know. But just to go back about what you're saying about the culture, and again, just read that article that Lee's talking about from The Athletic. Two more things that stood out. One, Johan Lange doesn't know what contract he's on. He doesn't know if he's got on a rolling contract, if he's employed, if he's on a part. It's ridiculous. And the other thing that came out of that article is Daniel Levy was the only football man in the club, and they've spent all this time over the last year building a football structure. Like, why have we waited all these years to do that? And I just can't go back to think like we need a massive overhaul. You know, even Kinski, I love Kinski. To come back after what Tudor did to him, hats off to him, hats off to his family, because he's got stones, that kid, but he's not good enough to be our number one goalkeeper next season.
Do you know what? You've just pointed something out though, yeah? Whoever made that Tudor appointment gets sacked today. Whoever's decision that was, has to go.
Yeah. Paratici won him in November.
We all knew that was it was the wrong decision. I even done a fucking video going, who is this geezer for the pod? Yeah. I was like, who the fuck have we just employed to manage Tottenham out of a relegation battle? Honestly, decisions like that, you shouldn't be involved in our football club.
No, but they never thought this could happen to us. This is the problem.
It's like the people that built the Titanic. They thought it'd never sink, but it can. But Ori, what I will say, you know, and I like that you're blunt about it. You know, you said it with Kinski, you said it about Polina. You probably told him to go. He's gone. Maddison in a captain role. Now we know that De Zerbi said there's 10 players. He reckons 12 at the most, right? How realistic is it that how many players can we buy? How realistic is it that we spend?
Yeah, it's not realistic. Realistically, we're doing this over the next 4 windows, right? So we've got to be intentional about what we're doing. Yes, is Kinski going to be sold? No. But is he good enough to be a long-term number one? No. At the same time, we're not going to bring in 10, 11 players this summer. That's just not going to happen. But when you look at, you know, the likes of Richarlison needs to go immediately. Bissouma, for me, needs to go immediately. Tell needs to go out on loan. That's 3 positions there that we need immediately. And then in the longer term, you look at people like Bentancur, not good enough for me. Sarr, not good enough. Gallagher, not good enough.
You know, he's our highest paid player.
Orange, why didn't you support Man City? Yeah.
But honestly, Matt, tell me that these players, like, we finished 17th 2 years on the bounce. They're not good enough.
I agree, but we're not going to make all these changes in 1 year. I think there'll be about 8 leaving this summer. I do.
Yeah,
and some of the names that you just
Owen, you're saying there about the 2 17th finishes and the players. De Zerbi just came in these last few games and just showed you that he can do things with players that these other managers can't. So, is it the fact that you're saying these 2 17 finishes ain't good enough and the players ain't good enough, but under a new manager, is it because they might just not have the right gaffer to get a tune out of certain players to see them?
So some of them, yes, definitely. Van der Ven, he's got a tune out of for sure. Udogi's got fit and got him playing back to his best. Udogi for me is a good player, but it's just about keeping him fit. Gallagher, Bentancur.
Bentancur's been good since he's come back, though. I have to admit,
and
he's one of my favourites.
He has been good, but is Bentancur going to get you into the Champions League? Is Bentancur going to win you a title? He's not. Do you know what I mean? Is Bentancur a good squad player to have and have around? Yeah, absolutely. But you can't have long term. You can't have Bentancur starting. And listen, look, it all depends on what the ambition is next season. Yeah. So if it's top 10 or let's finish in the bottom half, then Bentancur is what we need, isn't it? But if we're talking, and again, it's not my words, this is what Peter Charrington's saying, we want to be competing with the best in the Premier League and the best in Europe, then for me, Bentancur isn't good enough. But like Matty's saying, we've got to do it over time, but we've got to be intentional about what we're doing. And I think we're not gonna buy 8-9 players, but we've got to, you know, Mikey Moore's back off on loan, got to integrate him. Lancashire, we've got to integrate Lancashire. Vuskovic is coming in to start 100% next season. Like, we've got some good, decent young players coming through in the squad. We've got to look to integrate them next season and have them as part of the squad next season, because we've got no Europe.
Yeah. So Lancashire, would you say?
FPL out here? He's playing FPL, mate.
But you're saying that, like, when you say Lancashire and Mornat, you're saying that, you know, they're the guys that get the 20 minutes here, the 30 minutes there.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's right, because that's what I want. You know, at the end of the day, you know, all I ever hear in interviews with, you know, Sky or wherever it may be, is this training ground, this Hotspur Lane is the fucking creme de la creme. England are letting go of St. George's Park, whatever it's called. They come down to Tottenham half the time because it's so state of the art. And I look at that and I go, you know, and I've been in there. I did some work last year with a couple of Tottenham players, and like I've been in there, and I was only in like one area, and it was lovely, it was fancy. And I look at it and I go, so why are these players not coming through? You know, remember there was that day that
game. Can I say something on that, Lee? Just quickly.
Go on, mate.
Just quickly. Do you think that though breeds softness in players? I don't know. Maybe this is a boxing thing, right? Like that I grew up with, right? But I find that when you train in state of the art facilities and all these really nice things and everything's very all done for you and easy, it breeds softness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you get to the grit and the fucking proper old school hardcore training, I get there's a level of like state of the art facility in terms of it's got to be good, but sometimes I think if things are too well thought out and too good, it makes things easier for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and therefore you don't have to go through hardship to attain the level that you should be getting.
So I agree with that.
I just think sometimes these good facilities breed softness. Personally.
And I think you're right when it comes to the top level. But my point was going to be that if I'm 10 years old or 15, let's say, if I'm 15 years old and I'm in that space where every blade of grass has probably got a camera attached, which is attached to a computer, which is attached to a sports science software, which can tell me how the trajectory of my leg is, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy sports science, but that's the world we live in now. And if that means that I can take a 15-year-old, like you do with an athlete who runs 100 meters, and you can show them every little bit of detail in their movement, in their application, then that should make them a better player. If we've got those facilities, that's what I'm trying to say. We should be making these players using the state-of-the-art surroundings that we have to then get into the first team. And it doesn't happen. And for me, it's the biggest thing that I want to see at this club. I want to see how we get players. You know, we talk about Kane. That's what we talk about. You know, and of course, you know, it turned out, look at him now. The guy is unbelievable. He's unbelievable for us. But one player really in the stretch of how long is mad. And so for me, as much as I want to buy a name out there, you know, the names that we talked about all season that we always talk about, we nearly got Semenyo, we nearly got Eze. I want those, but I also want to see a Barnett come through. And that's why we've done it on this podcast for the last 2 years. Give out the scores, say the names and go, okay, because we want to see what they're about. We want our audience to see what they're about. And then we want to see what they're doing on the pitch. This season coming, I need to see that Williams Barnett integrated into that team, because if he's doing things that he's doing, I want to see it, because I want us as fans to be so happy to have another one of our own. And fucking
Lee, he's 12, mate.
He's 12 years old.
He's 12 years old.
Well, mate, scoring goals like that, he can get into any team. But that's the thing for me. The biggest thing for me that I'd love to see them at least not be relying on that, is to really make sure that we really look at bringing in what we create of our own. De Zerbi apparently was having meetings today, back-to-back meetings. I don't know, when they were, but it was today. So, because obviously then they probably go off for their summer holidays, or they go off for a break and whatnot. But he said last night, the work starts at 6 p.m. tonight or 7 p.m. He weren't thinking, I'm going on my holidays and come back, I've got a fat bonus. Tonight, he was saying 7 o'clock.
I tell you what, mate. He says the right things. He does in these interviews.
Brilliant.
And he shows the right passion. And I can't remember the last time I had a manager I felt so good about in terms of hard work, commitment, and even the little things in the press conferences of trying to find a journalist who's been fucking negative all year.
Brilliant.
And wanted to dig him out a bit and all that. And offering out David Moyes on the touchline yesterday and all that. I mean, he was one yesterday who I saw look up at that south stand and I thought he gets it. And they're the sort of managers that we can't have walking out of this club because people lack ambition. So I think you're right. I think he's a guy who's a hard worker. He's Italian. He's passionate, But I think he knows in the short amount of time he's been there, he knows what he's in, and he knows that this is a massive club, and he could have the best time of his career at this club if he's allowed to do it. But he says all the right things, man. He ticks all the right boxes, and he's done his first part of his job perfectly.
Brilliant. And that's what I'm saying, Kevin. I think if he was having those meetings today, I want him to have a meetings and go, right, first person, Mr. Finance, whatever. What's my budget? Mr. Recruitment. These are the names I like. These are the players that I want. These are the attributes of players I want. Go and find the players I want straight away. If you can't get them, these are the attributes. Do that. Bring me dossiers of what they are. I will watch them in and out, and then I will tell you if they're right or not. And then I want him to go, show me everything that's happened this last season in all the age groups from 17 upwards to 21, and show me that. Tell me the names, show me the results, show me the players, all the metrics. I need to see it all. They are the free conversations that I hope he was having today, because for me, I think if he gets that right, we could be great. You know, he was in charge of a Brighton team that have players that have gone on now, and people, they're on the names of lips of the biggest clubs in the world. Some of them have moved on. That's what we need here. And, you know, going back to you, Oren, about it, with De Zerbi and Charrington, what he was saying, that's that 5-year plan. You know, everyone has a 5-year contract, 3-year project, whatever. In that 5 years, what's realistic at year 1, year 2, and let's just say year 3? If we gave him 3 years, what's realistic this time next season? What is actually realistic?
Bloody hell. I think we've got to look to get back into Europe if we can. I think forget Champions League. You know that we're off of that, but I think if we can try and sneak a Europa League spot or a Conference League, just anything, just to get some European football back as a first step for me is what we need to do. But I think it's just getting us playing with some identity again, really, and playing some attacking football, which we've been starved at. We've been starved, for the last couple of years, and just to have a little bit of consistency again. I think, you know, we've got to start getting the building blocks in place.
Yeah, and that's it. And last question I'll ask you, Oren, who would you build the team around now of the players that we've got?
Oh, fucking hell. Good question. God, good question. I would build...
He's just released about 10 of them.
I've released them all, yeah. I tell you what, I would build it around Vuskovic at the minute. I think he's going to be a star for us and ultimately go off to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona at 24, 25. He's a great player. If you watch Bundesliga, he's such a good player.
So Vuskovic is. Oren, mate, have a good summer. Cheers, sure guys. I'll see you. You know, we'll see. We'll all get together for a Spurs game, but I'll see you at AEW.
Yeah,
as well. Definitely. Look forward to coming on again next season as well. Take care, guys.
Yeah, we'll have you on, mate. You're always a legend.
Definitely.
Oren,
see you later.
Best, mate. Take care. Right. Very interesting, lads. I mean, you know, that's the beauty of our fan base, that you see that there is the contrasting views on what people think and how people think we are going ahead. What I'd ask you, Matt, is the same question I put to Oren, really. What is realistic after year 1?
I think we're not in Europe next season. Our De Zerbi's got us playing. I think since he's come in, we'd be 10th or 11th on the form guide since De Zerbi's come in. I feel like giving him a window, getting rid of the players that he doesn't want. If he's only trusting 11 players, we need him to trust a squad of like 16 to 18 players, and he needs that this summer. I 100% believe Tottenham will qualify for Europe next season, and we will not have the season what we've had this year.
Well, it's interesting. His points average in the 7 games he's had is 1.6. Now, if you times that over 38, we would have just under 61 points, right? Let's say 60 points. That would this season get us in. I'm just having a look at the Premier League table. That, let's say 61 points, that would have got us 5th. So if he plays on that average, I know it's only 7 games, but if he was to play to that kind of points average, we'd be in 5th place now.
Look, this season's an anomaly in the past 15, though.
Yeah.
In terms of spread.
At the minute, though, as well, we're competing with kind of Chelsea and Newcastle because they're in our bracket. They're not in Europe next season either. So we're going to be in their bracket with the players that we want to attract. And they're going to be trying to take the players that we want as well. So I think Spurs need to be back in, even if it's Conference League, Europa League next season. If we end up getting Champions League, it's a massive bonus. But I definitely think at least Conference League.
Yeah, I agree.
No, but the thing is, Lee, he's in a no. He can't lose here. Yeah, the only way he's going to lose if he takes us down and gets us relegated. We finished 17th the last 2 seasons. There's no fact that we can't rush this as a fan base. Now we've been so pushy over the years. I feel like now we need to step back and just trust what De Zerbi wants to do. Do you know what I mean? We can't fall into that trap of. No, we've just survived now. We expect Champions League football next season. We can't be that fan base now. We do need to have a step back.
Well, the thing is, when Frank came in, I think we said the same thing. After Ange finished 17th, we said, what would we take under Thomas Frank? And we said that we'd probably Europa Conference League would be minimal for us, and we'd be happy with that. So if we was going to be happy with that with Frank, who sort of managed at Brentford and sort of been a bit of a mediocre side, might beat the odd good team here and there. What can this manager do? Because this manager is clearly better in terms of being able to get a tune out of players and a certain style. So if we're thinking we're a top 8, we could be a top 8 under Frank. Why can't we be more under De Zerbi? Why can't we? I mean, I've not met one Spurs fan who I spoke to yesterday, and I've got a couple of mates who support other clubs, and everyone seems to be saying the same thing. They think if we were to survive relegation, which we did, this manager, obviously with the right backing, could take us into European football next year. And I'm talking about any European football. So, you just don't know. But, I mean, the early signs are good there. We've got a manager who came in, got us out the shittiest of the shit. And we're now looking forward. And with the what's it called? The email coming out of the letter from the chairman. I think there's a massive chance that you can really give this geezer something and we could really exceed expectations next year. But as fans of what we've seen here, we would take Europa Conference League if it came now. But with the right backing, who knows? But they have to back him. And if they don't back this geezer, he will. These Italians are like, mate, they'll just go, promises, fuck that, I'm off. Ta-da. And he'll go.
He does, yeah.
And he's that type.
He will.
So if you like what we've got, look after.
Perfect way to say it. And we've got go on, TJ, what you saying?
Wait, I don't know. I might be the only one, but we finished 17th 2 years in a row, and you lot are talking about getting Champions League football. I think it's insane. Like to have that, that level of expectations. Insane. Absolutely.
No, I said if we can finish, get Europa.
What I'm saying is I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying you can't rule anything out. You can't rule out.
Yeah, you can't rule winning the league out either. But it's not going to happen.
Champions League. Who would have thought Bournemouth would have got Champions League this year? It's you just don't know. You don't know how other teams are going to go. Who's going to sell?
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Let me tell you how it will go this season. Yeah, come in. If he invests, we'll be pushing for top 10 European football, and as this season would have been, getting into like top 8 again, like European places, would be sufficient. Would be a pleasing season given what we've had over the past 2 years in terms of league football.
Oh yeah.
But things that people need to have perspective about as well. The past 2 seasons, we've got that 5th Champions League spot, in the EPS. So if your teams perform the best in Europe, you get an extra spot in Champions League, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, 3 of our representatives are smaller squads who have 0 experience in European football. In Bournemouth, Sunderland, and Brighton. So I'm not saying they're going to be shit by any means. They're probably going to be great. I hope they're great in their respective European competitions. But we are now relying on them teams to perform at the same level that the Big 6 perform in Europe all the time. Even Spurs, who was shit this year, got to the round of 16 in the Champions League, finished fucking 4th in the league table. Do you know what I mean? So we need those teams who have only ever played once a week to go out and play high level quality football across Europe to get that extra space.
I think they can. I think, look, we could have 3 English winners of 3 European trophies. I also believe that this league format now, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the league format in Europe at the moment, but I do believe that all it does is you go win your home games. Like we said before, Teach, with Spurs in the Champions League. You win your home games, you're practically through to the playoff round. And I think if that happens more, and then the bigger teams take care of what they do, it could happen. But that, yeah, I agree. I think I'm thinking more Conference League, and I think we all are. We're all thinking a bit more Conference League than Champions League. But let's just say if that 1.6 on average worked out to 61 points, that would have been sufficient enough this
61
year.
61 points usually gets you 6, though. This year is an anomaly. It normally gets you like 6.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing. If we get that, we'd be. If we're back at that top 6 table, then that's when you can start talking again. Because we've got the shell, we've got the stadium, we've got the training ground, as we say. You can attract things. If they want to start spending money, people will come, and let's hope that comes
I would
away.
Absolutely bite your hand off right now for a conference place next season.
Yeah.
Do you know what though, as well, boys? When I say I feel like as a fan base we need to back off, right? We can't put that pressure, because it becomes a toxic challenge at Spurs, and I feel like this is
Champions League.
Huh?
You just said they could get in the Champions League.
No, I said Europa League, Conference League. I said if he ends up getting Champions League, it's a miracle. But I feel like if we finish 10th, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? We then build for the next year, but we can't be so pushy. And we know what social media is like now, and it literally 3 defeats. Everyone wants that manager out, and we can't be that club. We have to just relax and just trust what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The league next year, by the way, is going to be fucking. The only team that's known next year is Arsenal. Everyone else is a fucking who knows next year.
Yeah. Interesting. And we've got a final guest who we could talk about with Tottenham and see what he thinks all about it and how it's gone and what he thinks is going to happen next season. That is our good friend Harry. Harry, mate, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. You feeling good after what happened yesterday?
Yeah, honestly, me and my mum were going mental. I mean, I get it for the team's performances this season, probably last season, but in my lifetime, I don't think I've been in a relegation battle. So
no, yeah.
I mean, Lee, this is what's great about bringing Harry on, because Harry's a friend of my son's, and Harry's 16 years old. So, we don't, us being our age, we don't really see. We've seen a lot, and we've seen, the good and the bad times, where people like Harry's age have probably seen the Pochettino side of it, and it's only just started dipping for them. So it's interesting to see what they're taking is only ever seeing the Pochettino thing to now seeing 270 finishes in the last. Yes, he's seen a European Cup as well, which we've waited a fucking long time for, and you got it really quick. But it's interesting to see that side of it.
Yeah, with Dele Alli and Pochettino, developing Dele Alli and the young academy people, how they've come through from 8-7 years old and then developing all the way through to the first team. You don't really see that right now.
No. And that's the thing, it's that, and that's what needs to change, as I was saying earlier on, Harry. I think that's what we really want to see. But I think for you, as Kev said, being of the younger generation, how do you feel De Zerbi, what you've seen, will go on next season? How do you think we're going to look? How passionate, or should I say, how hopeful are you about where we can go within 1 or 2 years?
I think we can go far with him if we keep him, because if you can see like Pep Guardiola, he's been kept on for City for about over 5 years, and long-term managers bring in the players that they want, not a massive squad of players from different managers. So I think if you keep that one manager, I think you'll be a lot better. Yeah,
and that's the thing. And also, hey, I mean, are you a FIFA or a FC 26 fan? Many, yeah. So I mean, nowadays, it's almost like the scouting network we had as younger kids playing Championship Manager, or what is called Football Manager. On FC 26, who are the kind of players that we could look at as the type of player that could fit Spurs, that feels realistic in buying? Not we'd all want Mbappe or whatnot, but who are those kind of unsung heroes that you pick into your team, ultimate team in FC?
Probably you could look at different leagues. I mean, the German league, I get it, Simmons, on and off this season, probably due to injuries and stuff, but I'll probably look at the lower leagues in the English tier.
Yeah. Probably is there any names that you get?
Nico Paz? Nah.
Been watching Matty's Twitch streams.
No, but Nico Pad is meant to be one of the hottest properties out there, is he? As a young player coming through. Yeah, Harry tunes into the old champs.
Enfield Town. Probably I don't know. I mean, I'm a goalkeeper personally, and I think probably if we're looking to probably play out from the back, I probably think you're probably looking. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're probably looking like a David Raya type build.
Yeah. Is there anyone out there that looks like that who would feel like Tottenham's a good place to go? That's in a league that's not in the Premier League.
No, I don't really know. Probably just look at some.
H, I've seen you. I've seen you play out with your feet, mate. You'd give Kinski a good go. You'd give him a run for his money.
Come on, let's get that. What do you think of Kinski, Harry? I think when I saw Oren say that he's not good enough, I thought I saw your head in your hands.
Yeah, I think Kinski, is probably one of the best goalkeepers Tottenham. No, probably not one of the best, but in my lifetime, probably one of the best backup keepers probably Tottenham's had. I think he's good with his feet and he's good enough with his hands. But the way how I play on Sunday is just we always pass up from the back. Always he never wants to go long. So I think goalkeepers nowadays have to be good with both. But obviously probably when my dad was born, he was you only have to be good with your hands. But obviously football time. I mean, they're bringing it back now to where long throws are coming back in the game. But how probably when I was probably 14, which is probably 2 years ago, people used to do short throws and all these type of tactics. But as you get older and you progress in youth football, your managers take it more seriously and you have set pieces and stuff like Arsenal really. But
yeah, well, and that's where we want to get to, Harry. Not be like them. We want to
achieve more than them.
Yeah, want to progress more.
That's it, mate. No, we know what you're saying. But just to ask you then, Harry, I'll ask you two questions to sort of wrap up. Who was your favourite player of the season? It's been a tough one, but who was your favourite player of a tough season?
I probably think Kinski. I mean, the Champions League game over and done with is fine. We all have that one game. But honestly, I think the way he's come in and he's progressed and coming from that number 2 spot, I know how it feels because school football. Coming from that number 2, you're having to prove yourself. And I think probably having to prove yourself is probably the biggest battle of all time.
I bet. Yeah. And then, if he is your best, who was your sadly worst player of the season?
I don't really know, to be honest. They were all not the best. But if I had if I had to pick one, it would be Vicario. Generally, I was panicking when he was in goal every time.
So was we, H. So was we, mate.
So was we, mate. Yeah.
I mean, his breadstick arms are just does everything wrong. He's just flapping his arms about, hoping for the best. I mean, he had a good first season, but it's all about consistency, really. For a fan watching it, you're all about consistency. But
it's dipped. And then I guess I'll ask you. Well, I think the biggest thing that Vicario did all season was have an argument with Seamus Coleman yesterday. Yeah. I think that's the biggest impact he had. But last question, Harry. If I had to ask you what position in the league will finish next season, what are you saying?
Probably, I would say we'll probably get Conference League. I think wherever that is now, because they're adding spots, you could get probably 12th. All the
time, aren't they? Yeah. Probably between 7th and 8th, I reckon. Yeah.
I think if they give this manager what he wants and what he needs for budgeting, and I think if they give him what he wants and give him the time over time, I reckon he'll get us into Champions League in a few years' time, as long as they don't get rid of him by year 2. So
that's it, mate. That's it.
Manager.
Cross.
But Thomas
Harry,
Frank,
go on. Thomas Frank, you're not a fan. Go on, tell us.
Thomas Frank, honestly, I don't know what the board was thinking. Generally, and then how everyone had this idea of getting Pochettino in, putting Ego, whatever his name is, in for 5 months, 6 months. I don't know, but I think giving a manager a long-term contract, I do agree with.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think we're onto something, and we can only hope that the whole club feels like it. But Harry, mate, you've been a superstar. I hope your next season's good, and I hope you come on and speak to us again next season. Kevin, bring you on and let us know how you're doing. And
Harry, if you do come back on, that half and half scarf can't be in the background, all right?
Oh, my mum's friend got me it from Bilbao. So
I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that one.
It's a Bilbao one, but you can have that. Harry, mate, you're a legend.
Right, thanks,
you, mate. All the best, mate.
Cheers,
Take care.
He's a wise head on young shoulders, isn't he?
Lovely kid. Really lovely kid. And I tell you what, he's my mate's boy, Cody's boy, and mate. Sorry, and he's been asking to come on all season, and he really enjoys the podcast for his age. And I don't know how many listeners we have at that age, but he's been wanting to come on all season. So we said we'll save it for him for the last one. So I know for a fact he really enjoyed that. So it was nice, boys.
Nice, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Hey, we need more younger ones on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
hey, who's your player of the season? Because you asked that to Harry. It'd be interesting to go around the room here.
So I will say mine, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a series of one word or one phrase answers. I need one phrase answers from you after. But for my favourite player of the season, I'd have to say, I'd probably have to say Porro. I mean, it's not
bad job.
Yeah, I'd have to say I feel like, and I'm picking the best of a bad bunch, but I think for a bit of heart, consistency, do you know what I mean? Decent quality, I'd say him. Tough question though. Tough question.
I think mine is. I think I'm going to have to go with Kinski, because of what happened in Madrid, as we keep mentioning. But yeah, like Harry said there, it takes a lot to come back from that, and I think we all knew as fans that we knew what he had because we've seen it in other games, especially his debut and stuff like that. So I think to come back and be as good as he has been under a completely new manager as well, which has suited him as well. But, and some of the saves he's made, some pivotal saves in these last few games as well. When I look back at Wolves, Leeds, and obviously the one yesterday. And I think it's a nice story, that he's come back. And
it's lovely.
And yes, he will need competition next season, and rightly should. Every club should have two good goalkeepers. But he has performed at the level I thought he would. And if he can get any better, then I'm sure whoever comes in as the next goalkeeper is going to have a battle with him for the #1 spot. But it'd be nice to have two good goalkeepers. So for me, for just the whole thing of coming back, I would give it to Kinski, I think.
TJ, who are you saying?
I like the Kinski argument, but I think it is isolated to this last 6-7 games. My one is someone who apparently is off now, Paulinho. I think when you look at Paulinho throughout the season, he showed passion in like 95% of games. He's not even a Tottenham player officially, and he has shown what it means to wear that shirt to the other players, I think. He contributes a lot in midfield. I think he's at like when he plays just in front of the defence, he cuts out a lot for me, and he gets goals. Like he's a player that you shouldn't expect to get goals, but he has actually contributed to a lot of our results this season as well. So just where he's saving us in games, Paulinho has scored big goals for us this season that have actually got us results and points on the ball. So yes, like mine for the whole season. If I'm looking at the season as a whole, I think Paulinho, which is insane because he might not even be there next year.
That's a good shout though. But Matty, what would you say?
I thought we was all going to go different, but mine is Paulinho. I feel like with Matty's goals, we would have been relegated, and I feel like even though he's not with us, he got it. Like you see it, like fist pumping the fans, 100%. Trying to get him up. He got it. Do you know what I mean? And like even he's like Abby was saying yesterday, like I just wanted to do it for these people, and I felt like he got it. And
I tell you what, that Aston Villa game in the cup said a lot about him as well, because he was fucking smashing everyone. His head was gone. He was so passionate and angry. He's having a fight. You know what I mean? He had that bit about him when the chips were down and the crowd was on Frank and all that. He was putting himself about and just showed you, no, hang on a minute. We might have lost you as supporters, but we're still going to fight for you. And I thought he was the one that showed that first in terms of fight. He really did.
Do you know what it is about him? Do you know what it is about him as well? Is I think a lot of players, they come to Tottenham and sometimes they think that they're bigger than the club or that they can go on to better things. He was just so happy to be playing for Tottenham. He was like, almost like he couldn't believe that he was playing for Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And this is a guy that was like making up the numbers at Bayern Munich last year. So he's not like he's playing for fucking shit clubs. But I think he knows that being at Tottenham, he was at one of the big clubs in English history. And I like everything he said, everything and he did, and the way he played all pointed to that as well for me. Paulinho, definitely.
Brilliant.
And you know what, Lee? I would make that move permanent. Like, even if he doesn't play week in, week out,
could do, yeah.
In the whole setup. We've got so many, I think Oren said, like, the average sign was 20.7 age-wise. We need them experienced players, like with potential Andy Robertson coming in. We need them heads in the changing room and in the training ground. We need them for them younger kids.
Agreed. And I think we'll come in, you know, as we get into the sort of thick of pre-season after the fixtures and, you know, late July, early August when we chat, we'll see where we are and hopefully we're in a better place. But what I'm going to ask you now, lads, to wrap up what has been another great season for us. I can't believe it's another season done already. I mean, it only feels like yesterday we was talking about having our own summer party and just doing the Perriman interview. And now we're another season down. But this season is one to forget. But I am going to ask you, I'm just going to go round and ask you a separate question each. Something to do with this season, something about the club, but also supporting the club. And I want one word answer or a short answer. So, Kev, I'll start with you. Favorite game?
Oh, I enjoyed Man City away, the second game of the season, just for the first away game. You know, had no right really beating them at that point, but it was a real team performance, weirdly enough, that game under a manager that ended up being really bad. But yeah, just for the whole day and everything else. Yeah, or Leeds, actually. No, I'm going to go Man City because it's first one, but Leeds is up there as well. But yeah, Man City.
Man City. TJ, favourite pub you drunk in this season?
Oh,
on the spot.
You know, be careful. Friends in Bill Nick as well. That's the problem. Do you know what? This year it's been between two.
It's definitely not the Dutch House.
Huh? Fucking hell. I said to Kev, I said that where we drunk on fucking Sunday yesterday was closer to the actual Dutch than it was to fucking Tottenham. Like we had to literally
all the way up
miles away.
Yeah,
Martin Yole was serving behind the bar.
Fucking at least someone was. I think there was one person working. Fucking
brilliant.
Nice little pub though. It is a nice little pub, but yeah. Anyway, so do you know what? It's really hard this one for me because the Bill Nick is like we have an affiliation with the owners. They like the music they put on all the time. It's probably them. It's like the Bill Nick this year has probably been like up there. But I have got to give a shout out to the Bricklayers who are like close second for me. There's been some sort of revival there this season. Like I don't know what it is. It felt like it's got something that some of the other pubs ain't got in terms of like the atmosphere before games. Do you know what I mean? Like the coach is somewhere we drink regularly, for instance. But I don't think there's any real like passion like within the pub at that time. If that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot in the building in the Bricklayers. Sorry, there's a lot of like outward passion before a game, which I quite like. Well, listen, the Bill Nick's like it's class, man. Like they've got the resident DJ in there. We know all the bar staff, we know the owners. Like it's a regular for us, man. We love it down there.
Yeah, it's lovely, great pubs. Matt, favorite song heard at the ground this season?
Muted.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, mate.
I said, fucking hell, Lee, we've only got four. We've only got 4 songs. I don't know. I think the Kudus one at the start of the season was all right. It was okay.
Yeah, I like that song.
What is that one? How is that one?
It's like Can't Start a Fire.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Kudus on fire. Yeah.
I'd probably say that one because it was something new and exciting, and I thought Kudus stepped up at the beginning of the season and he had his injury in that. But I do think we need to have a mix-up with songs. I feel like we've got kind of 4 or 5 songs we just constantly sing. I feel like we need to bring through a new song.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe we should put one out there. I'm sure we could do so. We're all a bit of a dab hand at karaoke, aren't we?
Like, let's go. Mate, I don't sing off of them because you'd hear me being out of tune for the whole thing. I quite like the Tottenham away. I like the one that we throw back in their faces. Tottenham
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that was when we did the pod. That was it was good. You put that out there actually. Kev, favorite pint you had on a Spurs match day? What was your best pint of the season?
Probably the one I had yesterday, actually, in the Dutch house. I like because it's a bit far out, bit further out of Seven Sisters. You get a glass, so for me, having a glass on a match day is a unique thing because obviously it's all plastics, and no matter what beer you put in a plastic, it tastes like a fucking plastic. So to have a nice ice cold Madri or a few in that degree of heat yesterday was a lovely, lovely pint. You know, the long journey there, as TJ keeps reminding me. But it was a nice cold pint. So yeah, if I can get a glass pint in there, or the Crown and Anchor's another pub that you can get a glass in. It's lovely, they're the sort of ones I like. Always a glass.
Was that pre-match, the Dutch house?
Yeah, pre-match. Yeah, right. It was in there. Got down there we got a straight train from Cheshunt, but it took us about 10 minutes to get down. It was great.
And they ain't fucking walking all that way after a game, mate. Fuck that.
That's good, right?
I tell you what was good. I put a picture on the Instagram today of us all standing outside of it, and a lot of the end of the last game of the season is always a thing where you try and meet everyone up as much as you can. Anyone you may have missed through the season, so I always try at the end to try and see people I haven't seen enough of, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go down there as well, was to see everybody. But what we did is that when we left there, because we were so far away, we thought, well, we'll just fucking walk it in that heat, and we just stopped off at every fucking offie. About every 3 doors down there was an offie, and we just kept walking and drinking, and it just felt like a bit firmy. It felt like all us boys, it's the last one of the season. It's fucking going to be nervous, it's going to be anguish, but it was nice to see everyone have that nice 40-minute walk with each other and have a laugh. So I like that. That's all a bit of me.
Nice. No, TJ, worst game you had to sit through?
I ain't been to many, thank fuck, this year.
Could be home. No, could be watching it at home. Could be at the ground. Worst one you had to watch?
It's a tough one, you know, Lee. There's been so many bad ones. I think losing to Forest at home, I think was the worst one for me. Getting battered by Forest 3-0. There's a lot there, man. Honestly, like drawing 1-1 to Wolves, like what the fuck was that? Again, a last-minute winner, like Paulinho saved us in that one. But yeah, I think the 3-0 home and away, by the way, to Forest we lost. But the 3-0 at home was probably my worst one. The 3-0 at home.
100%.
I think that's when it was already kind of real, but that's when it got real, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
Matt, favourite moment being in and around the ground before a match day this season?
I think South Stand. I think the South Stand before a game sometimes, especially at the back end of this season. I think it started off with when you had the coach for Nottingham Forest, and it went straight to the South. And I think from that day since, every game since, it's been absolutely rocking for about an hour before kickoff. And I think it's good to see, and it gets everyone pumped up to go to the seats. So I'm going to say South.
South? Nice. Kev, David Bentley, your thoughts?
Do you know what? He's now on social media, and I don't follow. If you go on my Instagram, I don't follow any celebrities or anything like that. But I do always have a search of his name and watch his stuff because I think he's fucking hilarious. He would be perfect in our group of mates going out. He's that personality for me. And meeting him obviously that day, and he put a lovely message in the comments of that section as well about the podcast and what we're doing and everything else. And I've mentioned him a couple of times. I had a brief chat with him in the inbox a couple of times. He's a really, really down to earth bloke. So yeah, David Bentley all the way for me. I want to be his mate.
Nice. I like it. TJ, your number one pick for a guest next season, if we could. We've got to aspire to say it. Who could it be?
What's Igor Tudor doing these days? Number one pick for a guest.
Yeah.
Do you know what? David Bentley's a great shout. I agree with Kev, by the way. I think he's like one of the lads. He's brilliant. It'd be a great shout next season. You're asking me all the hard ones, Lee. Martin Yole. We still want him on. We want Martin Yole on.
We want Martin Yole. I fucking definitely want Martin Yole on here.
We want Martin Yole on the pod.
Martin Yole. Yeah. Matt, what can I ask you, Matt? Now, what I was going to say to you. Worst pint you had this season? Yeah.
I think sometimes when you go Spurs and they run out of beer, and then even though you hate this drink, you sometimes like, yeah, go on, I'll have it anyway, and it's that neck oil shit.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to put us out of any sponsorship deal.
No, that stuff can go in the fucking bin, mate.
Sometimes when you're in there and they're like, yeah, we've got no more like Heineken or no more Madri left. We've got neck oil, and you're like, you've had a couple, and you're like, yeah, go on in, I'll just have one of them. And then you take one sip, and you're like, fuck's sake, what am I doing this for? It's disgusting.
Yeah. Kev, one pub you've got to go and visit more often next season.
Oh, one pub. I like the Victoria. We do go there every now and then, but I don't go there enough. And I do like that little quiet one that's tucked around the back. There's a pub called the Volunteer that I'm interested in going as well. I haven't been in yet. The Volunteer. I know the Bill Nick boys speak a lot about them, which is nice because it's pub to pub.
Everybody likes the Volunteer because he's seen the Insta videos of it.
Yeah, it looks like a sort of pub we can have a bit of a laugh in as well. So yeah, probably that, I think.
Nice. TJ, shout out to somebody who serves you in a pub that you can't speak high enough about. Always good, always serves you, always lovely, good service.
He's thinking now, who's the one that gives me the freebies?
and not mention them at the same time.
She would now be sacked.
Before you answer that as well, I feel like Gary Brooks in the Bricklayers, we lost him earlier on in the season, and I think we need to give him a massive shout out as well because he was a legend in the Bricklayers.
Big love, big love. Know the Brooks family, lovely people, yeah.
There's a few, I'll be honest with you, the girls in the coach let me down yesterday. Wouldn't serve. They normally service at the sidebar, and they wouldn't yesterday. But I think it was too busy. Obviously, the girls in the Bill-Nick look after us. Like we grew up with a couple of them, so they know us well. And like I say, the boys and the owners in there know us as well. So we're always good seeing them in there. And same as Bricklayers. We know people behind the bar of Bricklayers as well, and they look after us. It's probably easier for me to say places where they don't fucking service very well. We won't even get started on that. There's a few, mate. There's a few people that look after us, and we thank them. And they're all old friends. That's the thing. They're all like people we grew up with. This is the thing. When you're Tottenham boys, and you grow up in Tottenham, people that work on match day, like. If you go Tottenham and you come off White Lane onto the high road, there's like a stall, and I want to give him a shout out because I have a conversation with him all the time. There's a guy there called Kane, and he went to school with my sister. He said he was my sister, and every time I see him, I walk past him, he's like, TJ, shouts me. He's like, as the kids, as a family, all good. Just little things like that, and you only get that from being like a Tottenham boy. And I could walk in most of them pubs, and as you boys do as well. And people know you, and you know all the people working there, and people even in the ground on match days. And that's something about that I think is quite unique to our podcast as well, of us all growing up in Tottenham, is that we've got that like community thing going with everyone there. So yeah, there's loads of people I could give a shout out to, and it's all because they're all part of Tottenham, and it's where we grew up.
Yeah, and Matt, final
quickly, go on, mate. In terms of shouting people out, I just want to shout out Jamie Bradley as well because he's having a fight. His fight is this Saturday on the 30th, and he was selling more tickets yesterday, and he's going to have a big Tottenham following there. I mean, I'm going to be there as well, representing us there as well, and doing that same thing. It'd be everyone we know there as well in Camden, and it'd be a proper good Tottenham feel. So yeah, big shout out to Jamie. I saw him yesterday, had a big chat. He's ready to fucking rock and roll. Sort of caught him in the toilet, fucking giving the mirror some fucking jabs and ducking and weaving in the toilets. He can't wait to get going. So really looking forward to that night. So big shout out to Jamie, and also quickly before you move on, Lee, a big thank you to everyone that's listened to us this year, which I'm sure you've mentioned as well. We've been supported massively again through sponsors as well, who have been fantastic in helping us move on from where we have done previously. I feel like every year we get more popular. And I know these podcasts and these pages take years, to get to the point where, we are what we are, but we've achieved quite a lot in such a short amount of time because of the people that have followed us and listened to us and all the people that know us. So yeah, from me personally, and obviously you boys as well, it's a massive thank you to everybody that's kept us going and made us want to do it, because if you don't have that following, these can be pretty tough to do. But when you're doing it for people and you're racking up the numbers we rack up, I think it's really, really important to keep going. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's been a part of that.
Yeah, big love. It does mean a lot. And on this final question, that's what I'll ask you about. What's been your favourite moment to do the podcast this season, mate? You are a TikTok sensation now, my friend. I love seeing your TikToks, and you do make me laugh. The slurping of the result today when you're having your cup of coffee was the best thing I've seen.
I'll get trolled on that now, though, by the Lincoln lot. They're all coming at me now on that one.
But your favourite moment on the podcast?
Just a bit of banter, but fucking hell, some people are taking that too serious.
No, it's brilliant, mate. It's brilliant.
No, do you know what? I feel like it's been such a shit season, and without this pod, I feel like we've all been down in the dumps, and I feel like this pod, 1 hour a week, has always give us a bit of a boost because we've always come on here and made a bad situation good and had a good laugh with each other. And then it gives us a bit of a buzz to go again, just to fucking lose again. And then just to think, right, do you know what? I'm coming back for more. Do you know what I mean? It's been hard. Yeah. I feel like we've all kept each other going.
I've spoken to a lot of people this year, and Shane's one that I mentioned as well. And he says it all the time, but he ain't the only one that says it. And they say when we've had a shit result and they're pissed off and they're angry, sometimes they listen to us and we just give that bit of positivity because they know what we're talking about. They know we've been around it so long, and we do give people that positivity of going again. We're not always right, but I'd like to think we are right when it comes to the serious stuff, and we kind of know what our club needs, and we all want the same thing. But yeah, people thrive on that, which is great for us to do. So people do listen, and in the Claretyville, we all need to band together. We all want the same thing, and we all want success, and we want another night like Bilbao, whether that's winning the title or whatever it is in the next coming years. But yeah, whatever happens, we've all done it together.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to end it, lads. It's been a great season. It's the best thing to do. We're 5 seasons in now. We've seen relegation battles, Champions League fights, Europa League wins. We've done it all, and we continue. Next season, we'll grow. Next season, we want to do more. We want more guests. We want to thank everyone that's been on here. As Kev said, Jamie Bradley, big love for next week. Louis Sutherland, the Vanilla Gorilla. We had Tommy as well, Tommy Bradley on. We had the writer of The Ghosts of White Hart Lane, that fantastic play that was on in January. Shane, relevant. He always comes on and he's been fantastic.
Super Alan Nielsen.
Yeah, Alan Nielsen. Fucking hell, Alan Nielsen we had on. Molesy, Orin, Harry today is it's been a really, really good year again, and it's only going to get better next year. We're going to come back bigger, think about what we want to do, and like the team, we're going to come back stronger. But now we're going to go have a rest, have a little bit of a break, go and watch the World Cup, see what comes of that, and we'll come back at the end of July and start to say, hopefully, that Charrington and the board and the club have stuck to their word, and we're looking at things very, very rosy with players coming back and players coming in. So, lads, big love from me to you lot. You know what I mean? As I say, I love Tottenham. Always have done. I've not been to it in the same sort of style that you guys have. And since doing this, since starting that Instagram page in the depths of COVID in 2020, right up to now, the love and those nights, I'll never forget those nights this season, being in the bloody White Horse at Arsenal at fucking midnight on a Sunday night, fucking, little things like that, or us all meeting up, having a drink in a pub and whatnot and doing this. Even when we're doing it in pubs in Hertford, it's the best thing in the world. So, more of it to come next season, and we'll be back bigger and stronger. So a lot of love to you lot, and a lot of love to the listeners as well. Honestly, when walking down yesterday and a couple of people go, "You all right, Lee?" And I'm so sorry if I look blank on my face because I don't know everybody. You know what I mean? I'm not known in and out the pub, so I'm almost a little bit embarrassed, like a bit nervous, but it means the world to come and say hello. And it means the world to really big up the pod, like Kev was saying, like Matt was saying, and TJ. Do you know what I mean? You lot telling us that you like this and that you feel like you're in a room with us, in a pub with us, is the only reason we wanted to do this. We wanted it to sound, warts and all, like a bunch of mates in a pub that could say anything that could sound crazy or the most logical thing in the world, but it was like you could sit in with us, and that's what it's all about. So we'll be back next season. Thank you very, very much. Like, subscribe, tell every fellow Spurs fan about this pod, because the more we get bigger, the more we want to show what we can do with you, and the more guests we want to get on. We want to get Martin Yeo on. That has to be something for next season. But lads, all the very best, and have a wonderful summer. Try and get a tan in, like I didn't. I was in the Algarve for 2 weeks. They got fuck all. I'm gonna go and have to get a spray tan of a Jazzle down in
Jazzle.
Right, lads. All the very best.
Enjoy the break. Enjoy the break, lads. We deserve it. Enjoy the break. We deserve it.
That's it. All the very best. We'll be back next season in the Premier League. Stick with us. We'll see you then. Come on, you Spurs.
Tottenham away.